Welcome back to Diary of a Name Dropper. Oh, you're in for a treat. This episode, I am joined by the most delicious actor. Sorry, barely got my words out there. Destined for great things and star of a film I've been desperate to see. All-round funny guy, dancer, actor, model, and pretty cool snowboarder, rather annoyingly. You can see I'm all in a fluster. Should we crack on with the interview? Here he is, Ryan Bown. Welcome, Ryan Bown.
Thank you very much.
Oh, good. Now, I'm a massive fan. I'm going straight in with the interview here, Ryan, because I know you've got a whole afternoon of self-tapes because you are in demand. And I'm also going to call this one, and I'm not jinxing anything, and my hand is firmly placed on wood. So if it doesn't happen, you can't blame me. Mm-hmm. But I believe that I have got you before you explode. I honestly think when Blurred Lines comes out, I've watched that trailer so much. I'm a little bit in love.
Oh, well,
and your acting, I mean, you're an Australian, obviously.
I am.
We can but you're not, are you? I think your wonderful girlfriend, Natalie, who I know from radio, she said you're originally a Brit.
I am originally a Brit, and speak of the devil, Natalie has just walked in with an overflowing cup of tea and one of my salted caramel Murray River Tim Tams, which, yeah, you can have, honey.
Yeah, so Natalie and I met doing local radio in lockdown, and at the time, you guys were having a long-distance lockdown relationship, because hadn't you met about 6 weeks before the pandemic or something crazy?
Exactly that, yeah, we did. We met, a couple of months before, and then Nat was supposed to go away for 7 months on a cruise, and I was going to be staying put in London. So we were prepping for that, and then it all flipped with COVID. I went back home. Yeah. I went back home for a week, and then it ended up being a month, 2, 6, and then a whole year.
We looked after her for you.
Yeah, you did.
I was well looked after.
We did.
I was tuning in from the other side of the world. I really love listening to you guys.
Oh, did you like our New Year's Eve show? We did a new... you pretend, yes.
Yeah. Oh, that was a banger, that one.
I think you were listening to it because it was New Year's Day. Wait.
Oh, it was I? I was probably hungover listening to it.
Yeah, you probably don't remember.
Yeah. Could you leave me with Ryan, please? This is my one moment with Ryan that I've been waiting for for 2 years.
It's just a bit annoying that my boyfriend is now more famous than me. But anyway, I'll leave it to it.
It's very annoying.
Nah, it's just hijacking my first radio interview with Meredith.
Podcast.
I wish it was radio. Make it happen, Ryan. We'll
make it happen. We'll bring it to radio.
Bye, guys. It's been lovely.
Bye, my darling. Come up and see us soon.
Bye.
Right, well, Natalie has mentioned that you are more famous than her, and you have literally, I would say your career has kind of exploded since coming to London after lockdown. You landed, well, you should tell people, because not only do you have a wonderful voice, you know your career far better than me, and I can just sit and enjoy you talking to me.
Well, okay. Firstly, thank you very much for that lovely intro. I really appreciate the love, and I really appreciate all of the love that you have given me over the last, year and a half. I really do.
It's genuine. I'm such a huge fan. I mean, I'm interrupting you already, but I'm such a fangirl, and you're also incredibly beautiful. You look like a Hollywood film star. You do. You look like a classic film star already. It's like there he is, the full package. And you can dance, can't you?
Who told you that? I don't. Look, I can bust it. I can bust a freestyle. Oh, when was I dancing? What, with the clips with Nat when we were in that underground bar?
I followed you for a long time.
Oh shit! If you've uncovered any old school dancing, I want to see it. I'm interested in where I was busting a good move.
The video of you and Natalie getting completely distracted by the beat dropping is literally my favourite video of the pair of you, though.
Distracted by the beat dropping?
Well, you're doing a cake or doing balloons, and then the beat kicks in of a song, and you both start dancing, and it's very funny. You don't even remember half these videos. Because you post them pissed, don't you?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, wake up and I don't look at them again because I'll regret it all.
But it's getting you work. So, sorry, I interrupted you. Let's go back to you arrived in London and
yes,
beautiful North London, Highgate, where I'm from.
Yes. Yeah. Highgate. Yes, you were, weren't you? We've got to bring you back here as well. Yeah, beautiful Highgate. So, well, when I first moved to London, it was a bit of a rocky start, to be fair. I moved in 2019 at the beginning of April, and I was here for a month, and kind of was a fresh start. I knew a couple of people. I have two cousins here, and like you were saying earlier, my parents are English. My dad's from Kent, and my mum's from Liverpool. She's a Scouser.
Scouse.
She's a Scouser, yeah.
Have you got a Scouse accent?
Oh, if it needs to come out, it'll come out. So it depends, like, you know what I mean?
Oh my
God.
My daughter lives in Liverpool.
Does she? Oh, well, I love Liverpool.
So do I.
Yes, it's cool. She doesn't have the accent. Yeah, me too. No, she lost the accent because it was like a conscious decision. She decided to as she was growing up. So she just says like grass and glass, but other than that, she sounds like kind of posh English, really.
Glorious.
And my dad's the other end. He's got a proper like Cockney kind of East London accent, sort of like this, very charming. So I think, yeah, I was born and raised in Sydney, but I've always had a bit of a tinge of an English accent, and even more so when I moved here. But yeah, so moved here April, settled in for about a month, and then I honestly thought, I realized how expensive London was, so I thought I need to travel Europe before I like settle in and spend all my money that I've saved up to come here with. So I did. I set off on a 3-month adventure around Europe, and my older brother actually was going through a divorce at the time, and we're very close, and he was in a bad place. So I called him. I said, mate, come with me. And he booked a flight. A week later, he came with me, and we travelled for 3 months.
Oh, that's brilliant. He's not an actor, is he? I mean,
No,
you all
not.
look like actors.
No, he's not. Although he's been to a couple of auditions where they've needed brothers, actually.
I mean, you've
He's
got
not
good
an actor.
genes, let's be honest.
I'll take it. Yeah, I mean, it's my parents. That's my parent. Whatever. I don't know. I look nothing like the rest of the family. Me and my older brother do, but I'm kind of like they're all got this like beautiful olive skin, and like I'm kind of got the Irish from my grandmother, I think, and I'm pasty. But
No,
anyway.
you've got well, a lot of Scouse are Irish, aren't they?
Yeah.
Sorry, interrupt you. So
That's
you
okay.
travelled.
Yeah, travelled, went all around Europe for 3 months and spent all my money, had a great time, and then, do you know what, like, end of August hit, and it was I was in Spain with my brother, and Meredith, I'd spent all my money, and I was like, what have you just done? You've just spent you're going to try and set up in London. You know how expensive it is. Like, what the fuck have you done? And on the very last day, my Australian agent sent me an email, and she was like, hey, Ryan, hope you're well. Just want to let you know that Mazda commercial you did last year is rolling over, so we'll send you this amount of money.
Thank you.
I was like, I cried. I was like, stop. So on my last day, and I looked at my brother and I cried. I was like, oh my God. So that set me up for my move to London, which was like an absolute blessing. And then met Nat a month later. We started dating. I signed with an agent who I'm still with now, AJ Artists, and then kind of got the ball rolling. And then COVID hit. So yeah, that was a funny time. So long story short, went back to Australia, which ended up being an entire year. But while I was back there, Australia opened up more than most places in the world. So I met a friend through an acting class. Me and him produced and starred in a theatre show. We put it on for a week in Sydney, and that did really well. I signed with a new Australian agent. So things were kind of rolling in Australia, and Nat was like, my partner, she was like, are you coming home anytime soon? This would have been when you were all podcasting.
Yeah. We knew how much she was missing you, and we kept her entertained.
Yeah, no, I saw and I heard, and I was tuning in all the time. So, but yeah, so February came, and then moved back, and then bringing back to your original point. I think 2 or 3 months later, I landed Everything I Know About Love.
I mean, that's
playing
huge.
Nathan. Yeah,
I loved your scene when you were fuming about Augusto not being 50 minutes or 50 minutes my arse, or because everyone says that it's never a 20-minute meal.
Never is.
Why do they lie?
I don't know, but it's double. Yeah, it was. What was it? It was 15-minute meal's my fucking ass. More like an hour and a half beef fucking stroganoff. That's the one. Beef stroganoff, that's what he's cooking.
You were brilliant in that. Brilliant.
Oh, thank you.
I mean, the kind of person I couldn't personally date, but he was
Yeah.
just, I mean, to land the Dolly Alderton series as well after the success of the book was pretty insane. I can imagine the press junkets and things like that would have been full on.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I had heard of the book. I'd never read it, and then I think when I actually initially auditioned for Street, the character of Street.
Right.
So I initially taped for that. I was like, this project sounds great, and then I was like, oh, it's this book, and then I kind of read more into it, and I realized the gravity of what they were making. And then they realized I was Australian, so they were like, oh, let's get him to tape for Nathan. And it's funny because I don't usually get the kind of, I mean, he's kind of like a straight edge kind of cookie cutter, 9 to 5, oversized suit, very regimented, surface level guy. And so
Obsessed with the gym.
Obsessed with the gym. And like, I saw that, I got that brief through, I was like, oh, I know this guy. I know this type. Yeah, totally. Like, especially in Australia as well. Like, there's like these dudes everywhere in Australia. So I was like, okay, cool. And then put it down. They brought me back in, and then landed the role. And it was incredible. I mean, we were shooting 3 months in Manchester, and it was, the best team of cast and creatives and crew that I've ever worked with. I mean, especially Belle, my scene partner most of the time, who plays Birdie, my partner in the show. She's
an actress.
She's incredible.
An actor, should we say? We can't say actress anymore.
Yeah,
Can
actress, actor. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what people prefer these days, but yeah, no, she was incredible.
But her bio is ridiculous. She came fresh from Line of Duty, I think, didn't she? Or was she Line of Duty or something very, very gritty? And
I think so. Yeah, and then she broke into the Americans. I think she was working on, I remember watching White Boy Rick, which is a McConaughey film, and she was in that. And also King of Staten Island, Pete Davidson's kind of loose biography or biopic.
I love that.
Yeah, and she was so good in that. So good. So, yeah, working with her and everyone else and just the show, and it was, you kind of knew that, I mean, given the book had such a massive following and it was so loved and Dolly's so loved, you would hope that the show was going to do well. And they did such a good job with it. I mean, yeah, they did such a good job with it.
I can't believe it was filmed in Manchester. I mean, I grew up in Camden, and you had me. You had me at Camden.
Wild,
I mean, and the flat in my head, I had you based at the Rowley estate, the Alexandra Road estate, which is a famous architectural brutalism triumph, and it's used in a lot of Luther. And you must Google the Alexandra Road, Rowley Road estate. It's a architecture orgasm. Really,
okay,
that's the only way I can think.
Yeah,
if
no,
you
that's,
like
that is, that's a sell.
brutalism and that kind of very 70s hard architecture, then it's. But I visualised you all living there and sort of prancing around Belsize Park and Farm, and it was. I was so slightly different generation to me, so I couldn't relate as much as millennials, because it was the sort of MSN, MySpace, which I sort of missed because I was having kids, and then I came back in. I sort of was introduced to social media via Facebook and Friends Reunited, but I loved it. It was actually really interesting, sort of watching the generation that followed us.
And totally
brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Loved it. So. Because I remember Natalie bringing up Blurred Lines, the movie, and telling us about it. And then I think she shared the most minuscule snippet. And I'm an absolute music lover and music production lover. For me, it's about the production of a song, I love architecture, just talking about that kind of architecture. I love the architecture of a song as well, how it hooks and middle eight and key change. And so, and that really is, the Blurred Lines is a film all about, stealing bricks from someone else.
Yeah.
And so I've always been fascinated in the story of that. When did you film that? Because did you do that before everything or around that time? Because I feel like you did that a long time ago. I feel like I've been waiting forever.
Yeah. Oh, it's been on the fest. It's been on the. I'm going to tell the director that, and I'm going to put a strong word in on behalf of you, Meredith, and let him know that you're not happy.
Oh, I am not happy. Everything. I cannot tell you how many discussions I've had about that song, the lawsuit, obviously the video, Robin Thicke's subsequent fall from grace.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole thing is incredibly exciting, but then you being cast as Robin Thicke, my God.
It was totally out of the blue. So that was just before Everything I Know About Love, and it was a funny one because, it was completely out of the blue. Corry, the creator and absolute mastermind behind the whole thing. He did, everything. He was script, he writer, director, producer. He was on set, doing a lot of the own lighting and stuff. It was a very small crew. So he just did everything so seamlessly. So he contacted me. We'd never met, and kind of told me about the project. We had a chat on the phone, and kind of instantly I was really interested. I hadn't actually heard of I didn't know much about the lawsuit, and I did hear that it was going down, but I never really knew much more to it than that. And I honestly hadn't really followed Robin Thicke's career. I didn't really know he had a fall from grace. I had kind of no idea. So it was all fresh stuff to go into. So he called me about that. Then I got on board, and I was back and forth to Manchester for fittings and makeup and costume and everything. And the first thing the director and China, the director, said when I had the fitting for Nathan was that we have to get rid of my curls and shave my face completely. Oh. So I kind of looked a bit more.
Shave your face,
just clean shave, which I'm rarely clean shave. I hate it, and just make my haircut as boring as possible with no pizzazz or style. Because usually I roll around with all these big curls, and so she'd be like, we have to cut the curls, and these are the clothes I'm going to put you in, and shaved face completely. We need to make your face a little more, I think, kind of round and plain. I don't know how it was said.
Well, you're too good looking, I think is what she was probably trying to say.
I think I do.
No one cares about his personality because you're too good looking.
Well, I think Nathan was described as having a potato smiley face. So I was like, okay, let's go for a potato smiley face.
But amazingly, you made him quite unattractive
good.
So you did a brilliant job, but you're not potato faced.
Well, I think I slightly was for that show, but so then I got cast as Robin Thicke in Blurred Lines, and I was like, oh shit, well I've got 2 weeks to kind of get a tiny bit of my stubble grows pretty quick and get the hair back so it's slightly longer to kind of play Robin Thicke. So we shot it over 3 days, and
what?
Yeah, we shot Blurred Lines over 3 days. 2 days. It was a weekend. Yeah, it's a short film, so it's only 12 minutes. Oh. We shot about. Yeah, it's not a full-length film.
No, I knew it was a short film. I did, but but God, that's incredible. That's still. My sons are doing cinematography, and they can't even get their 2-minute shorts.
Yeah,
done in that time. That's. Wow.
It was a lot of planning from Corry. Everything was so well organized. The locations were scouted. The little crew that he had on set was all really on point. And Corry he just kind of knew exactly what he wanted to do. He'd been tinkering with this idea for ages. His dad's in the music industry. He's a huge, massive music geek, and he's known about this story and followed it, I think, since he was growing up or in his teenage years. So he knew exactly what he wanted to do, which was a blessing. I just kind of prepared and got onto set, and then just, did what he wanted me to do.
But The
It was
production is so slick, you would never think
it's
it
so
was
slick.
a short film.
So slick. Yeah, we're hoping to get into a feature. That's the plan. So it's been on the festival circuit. He's got some.
How it works?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's how it can work. Yeah. So in this case, like if he gets like a big production company onto it, or some big financing, and someone is interested in it to kind of help make it into a feature, then that's the plan. Yeah, so fingers crossed. But it did well on the festival circuit. It's won a few awards and it's still going. And I think he's had some good news from another organisation. So yeah, fingers crossed. But yeah, that was a fun one. What was fun was the
video.
reading all the deposition, like the entire deposition trial, like transcript from when Thicke and Pharrell were, being interviewed. It's like 600 pages, but it's like it's fascinating. And
Did you get a sense of the utter madness?
Yeah, oh, totally. And you get a sense of how long it kind of took for Robin Thicke to kind of like come clean and basically say, I didn't write the song. Pharrell did everything, and it's all in the transcript. It's all in the interviews, and it's madness. So what's in the script? Corry actually pulled like line for line things that were in that.
That was my next question. Oh my goodness. Yeah. It's all virtually line for line, bar a few things. Like Pharrell's into his deposition interview is pulled from the deposition transcript. Basically, all of it is, and then a few things are added here and there. Well, Channel 4 did that with Vardy Rooney. The Rebecca Vardy and Colleen Rooney thing. They did I think it was Channel 4, and it was all from court transcript. That was the script, and just brilliant. Absolutely.
Right. What was the show?
Well, it's I think it's on Channel 4. Vardy Rooney. Rooney.
Okay.
I'll have to get my producer to have a quick look on Google. But yeah, it's amazing, and yeah, definitely watch it to whet your appetite.
We'll do
for Bloodlines. So how much is in the courtroom with Bloodlines? You say it's 12 minutes. Do you get a snippet of the video? Because I'm assuming they've got to put the film out for people who might not know the song. So what's in there, and how much research did you do, and did you reach out to Robin Thicke? And I need to know everything. I really do.
No, I didn't reach out to Robin Thicke. I think Corry might have tried to reach out to his team to let them know that we were doing this, or I can't remember. But no, I never reached out to Robin Thicke, but I did plenty of research. The research was so fun. I just had his. Do you know what? So we're in our place. We've got the Google speaker. So every time you want to play a song, hey Google, play this song, and it's hooked up to Nat's Spotify, and you get the Spotify Wrapped at the end of the year, and her top artist, top song, top album was all Robin Thicke from a month of me just listening to his music back to back. She was like, "Wait, what the?" I was like, "Sorry,
I've got a thing."
Yeah, I've got a thing. I got.
Oh, because was the original? I can't remember. There's been so much told about the story of Blurred Lines, the video. I mean, there was a drama in every aspect of the making of that song, down to the video. Was the original video, were the girls naked or topless or?
Yeah, they shot an R-rated one where they were topless, and then the one, I think they put snippets of that in the actual music video, but they shot two, one with, I think, a few of them topless and one without, as far as I know.
I mean, God, and this wasn't that long ago.
No.
This is the thing. But yeah, I kind of know what they were trying to do. You've got to factor in the name of the song is Blurred Lines.
Yeah.
So I'm a huge Pharrell fan, so I'm not going to say a bad word about it. I'm also a massive Marvin Gaye fan, and I love the idea of samples. However, if he just sampled it.
Yeah. Well, it was interesting. I mean, you seem to know loads. Were you following the whole controversy when it was all going down in real time?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm trying. What year was it? Remind me of the year, because then I can place exactly.
2012.
2012?
20, maybe it was, well, when the court, do you mean when the court cases were
No,
happening?
when did Blurred Lines actually come out?
What are we now, 2012? I think it must have been about 2012 or 2014.
Yeah, and it was actually my husband, producer Jeremy.
Yeah, 2013.
2013. Yeah, I knew it was about 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And my husband is a unbelievably huge NERD fan, which Pharrell was. Well, NERD then went on to produce Justin Timberlake, and he'd been to see NERD years ago, and then we saw Pharrell supporting Stevie Wonder. I mean, what a lineup, right?
Oh, wow. That's a golden period right there.
Yeah. I mean, just saying that makes me sweat and cry simultaneously. And I mean, Maybe is one of my favourite songs, which is, and Lap Dancer, Pharrell at NERD. And so I was a huge fan. And then I've always been absolutely fascinated by, like you said, the structure of the song. I've had a jazz show. I've always been fascinated by samples and music samples. And I can remember when SWV were the first ever band to sample Michael Jackson. No one had sampled Michael Jackson, and they sampled Human Nature for Right Here. Some music puritan is probably going to message and say you're wrong. Michael Jackson was sampled before that. But from what I remember, SWV, short for Sisters with Voices, sampled Human Nature for Right Here. And that was the first time Michael Jackson had been sampled. But Stevie Wonder, who we've just mentioned, is my ultimate artist. And my mum was in the music industry. She was a publicist. And so I just grew up with music and loved structure. I remember being at a dinner party and I played Pastime Paradise, and someone said, "Oh, I love Coolio," and I wanted to weep because Stevie and then I explained, spent the whole night ranting about samples. And so I knew Marvin Gaye there'd been covers, and but I think the whole issue with the Blurred Lines thing was Robin Thicke kind of denied it, didn't he? Or was just too fucked to remember. Basically,
yeah. The latter.
Let's be honest.
I think it was interesting because he had worked as a musician, producer, songwriter for other artists all of his life, and his father Alan Thicke was a huge influence in the film world.
Right, see, I don't know this. I don't know much about Robin Thicke himself.
Yeah, so Alan Thicke was his father, and I think I can't remember now. It's killing me. But Alan Thicke was on a huge TV show growing up. It was a really popular show, and I think he had his bits and pieces within music. So Robin they had a very good relationship, but Robin was always trying to kind of make a name for himself and carve his own path. So the way he initially started was that he was a songwriter for a lot of up and coming artists, and he's behind quite a few songs actually. And then never really had. I think his first album did pretty well. And you know what? When I was doing the research, I was listening to one of his first songs that broke out. What is it? When I've Got You Alone. Do you remember that song where he's riding the bike through the city? He's got long hair. He's playing like a delivery man. When I get you alone, when I get you alone. No,
was that Robin Thicke? You'll have to
It was
send
Robin
to me.
Thicke.
Yeah. I'm really bad
listening...
with song names. I
am too.
I mean, I know you sang it just like the record then, but...
I can't believe I just sung for you on your podcast live because I am I do not have a voice, and
I don't care, Ryan.
It's good. I didn't think about it when I was doing it, so...
You see what I did there? I'm good.
Good, just lulled me into it.
Give me your bank account details.
No, how? God, have them. I think I've just sent them to you. That's weird. That was his first breakout song. So anyway, he'd been clawing away and at it for quite some time and never really had anything that really took off. And then Blurred Lines came about and basically just shot him to a new stratosphere of how big that song was. And so during the whole year of the success of Blurred Lines, he was on interviews with Oprah and other interviews and whatnot. Basically on Vicodin and drinking vodka throughout the entire year. So he then he then kind of just got himself into a bit of a pickle because one of the first interviews it's in the short film as well. There's a little clip taken from it where it's just like, the songs are very reminiscent to Marvin Gaye's Got to Give It Up, da 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 da. And then Robin Thicke, he actually said this in an interview. He was like, yeah, we try to make something like, Got to Give It Up, something that would have a bit of a groove, something, which was not at all true. He kind of just was saying that to I think, get the hype from Got to Give It Up. Mm-hmm. And kind of build it up more,
and it bit him.
It stuck. He said it a couple times, and then it stuck, and then it bit him in the end. Yeah, but
I do love that scene because the way it's edited in the trailer is brilliant. Because you've got him like all enthusiastic, going, "Yeah, it's got a bit of exactly what you just said," and then like the next scene, him rubbing his face.
Yeah. He's in a pickle, and it's interesting because I think why he kept getting himself into a pickle is because, and saying this stuff about blurred lines. I mean, he basically, from what I researched and kind of everything that I researched, he was trying to kind of claim more ownership over the track and the production of the track than he actually had. While Pharrell was kind of in the background, not really saying too much, he kind of lets the music speak for itself. But I think Robin was really, the one song that's just like made Robin Thicke and it's come out and it's been an incredibly successful song. I think he wanted to make himself believe that he had more to do with the production of it. So everything he was saying was just biting him in the ass in the end.
Yeah. And in theory, it was just a Marvin Gaye rip-off with Pharrell production.
Yeah, basically. And it's
very clever, though.
Yeah. And it was one of the lines in the short where he said, I was just kind of lucky enough to be in the room, but Pharrell did everything. So he became really honest in the end, which was crazy.
And I mean, that's got to be hard. 12 minutes to make the audience engage and not necessarily fall in love with the character, but relate or empathise or hate, feel an emotion. That's 12 minutes to do that is a big ask. I think short films must be so difficult because you just about probably get into a character. I know that obviously you're filming for 3 days, but still 3 days compared to a shoot for a regular film. That's not did you study him, or because I immediately see Robin Thicke, and that I've got lots of friends that act, and when I watch them on telly, sometimes I do. It's really hard to not see your friend, and the minute you click onto that trailer, I see Robin Thicke.
Oh, cool!
And you've done that in the trailer, so clearly you can do it within 12 minutes. But is it harder?
Yeah, I mean, I loved it. I loved the prep for it because I just spent any bit of spare time I had walking to the station in the morning, like I would just kind of listen to interviews with Robin Thicke, because he has a distinctive voice. He's got a deeper voice, and obviously he's got like he's American.
Yeah, where's he from in America? Is he slightly southern or?
Yeah, I can't.
There's definitely a bit of.
I don't remember right now
south
where he's from.
there.
Yeah, there's a bit of south in there, which was. So that was fun. I mean, I love working on new accents and particularly trying to study his, because it wasn't just like a typical general American, is what they call it. It had a bit of a southern twang in it, but it only come out sometimes.
When he was on something.
Slurring. Yeah, come out a bit more. But yeah, so he had a deeper voice, so I would always do this whole, to make my voice deeper, which I find actually works. You might have seen it in Wolf of Wall Street when McConaughey's doing tapping his chest and doing that. He actually does that to lower his register, to lower his voice. Yeah.
God, I better not do that. I will end up sounding like a man.
Well, it could come in handy sometimes, if you need to, I don't know, shout at Jeremy.
God, that's fascinating. I want to come back to your voices, actually, because I want to talk about your comedy. And you're very clearly influenced by Jim Carrey. I mean, most comedians should be and are. But before we talk on a lighter subject, you then were filming in Poland. I mean, a few weeks after the war broke out in the Ukraine. How was that?
Yeah, well, it was. Do you know what? I mean,
Not for
I was
Blurred Lines, this was. Are we allowed to know the name of that?
Yeah. So this was Perfect Addiction. It's an American film. It's coming out March 26th and 28th.
Exciting.
Yes.
Watching that. We'll put everything in the show notes, like I said, so our listeners can just go, oh, I'm
Cool.
gonna have a Ryan day.
I'm barely in that film. I'm barely in that. You know, I was there for 5 weeks and it was an incredible time. And I was only needed for about 8-9 days, but I couldn't go back and forth because they needed to keep me there in case of COVID or in case of, anything happened with the war and we had to relocate. So they had a whole contingency plan worked out, so they made everyone feel super safe. But I was kind of, I was pretty sensitive because it was right after the war broke out. So, but. It was it was totally fine the entire time in Krakow. We shot it. There was no interruptance with the shoot. It was sad being over there and seeing being a little closer to what was actually happening. You kind of feel the reality of it. But we shot that for 5 weeks. Comes out in March. That is an American film, kind of following the lead, who's played by Kiana, and she is, it's all to do with MMA, underground fighting, and there's a little love triangle story in the middle of it.
Oh, sounds brilliant.
Yeah,
absolutely brilliant. So we go from MMA to comedy. Now, I follow you on Instagram, and I think you're incredible. You and Natalie, didn't you go viral a couple of times on TikTok doing ridiculous things, but they were brilliant. And am I right? So did you study the Meisner technique? Is it Meisner?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's very much about like listening and reacting. Meisner. It can get pretty intense. But I didn't study too much of Meisner. No, I did. In drama school, when I was there, we touched on Meisner a little bit, and I'd been to a couple classes in London, but I never did like heavily intense Meisner training.
But your comedy is off the hook funny. Have you had comedy training?
I think that's just me being a dickhead most of the time. I think that's just me being silly. I've had a little bit of comedy training, but I was a massive fan of comedy growing up. Yeah, I was a huge fan of Jim Carrey, so I think I just took on a lot of his. I was inspired by Jim Carrey a lot, as so many people were. But I never studied it too much. I always, in drama school and whenever I could, starting out, tried to kind of aim to get comedy projects, short films, whatever I could get, really. But I love it. I really enjoy it.
And Nathan, you was comedy. You used, I mean, that was so beautifully done because it was subtle, but his character made me laugh the most.
Oh, cool. Yeah, a few people have said that.
It's really difficult to make quite, in reality, a boring character someone you can't take your eyes off on the screen. And I definitely, with you, I wanted more of Nathan because he was just such a dickhead.
I'll take it. Yeah, I'll take it.
It was brilliant. I mean that as such a huge compliment because
I appreciate that.
So would you ever do stand-up comedy? Is that your worst nightmare or
worst nightmare?
Really? Yeah.
Do you know what? I would try it. It terrifies me completely because I'm such a fan of stand-up and it's never really been something I've seriously considered, but the thought of it terrifies me. But I reckon I would give it a go. I reckon I would give it a go.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned Pete. Oh my God,
Pete Davidson.
Pete Davidson, yeah. Which he's one of my favourites.
Yeah, he's great. Me too. He's so good.
So good.
So dry.
And I get
so
the big
dark.
dick energy. I get it.
Yeah, me too.
I totally
me
get
too.
it. Like people who've
me
never
too.
watched him do stand up or paid attention and have just seen him in like the Daily Mail.
Yeah.
Are like, oh, I don't get it. I'm like, I get it.
Yeah, totally get it. You just get it like looking at him once, just standing there. He doesn't move much, And that's because he's weighed down. Swinging either way. No,
And he's got a backstory, which is great. In
does.
marketing, everyone, you want a backstory. And Steve Davis was a really boring snooker player. But Pete
we love
Davidson.
Steve Davidson. Yeah, it's his cousin that no one's heard about.
He's well endowed cousin.
Yeah, or the opposite. Steve's the opposite, and Dave got the lucky string.
Exactly. Yeah. So, are you in the middle of anything at the moment? I know you're incredibly busy, and you've just squeezed me in your very busy schedule, which I'm so grateful for. But what are you doing at the moment? What's next? Have you just finished something we don't know about? Tell us all.
No, I've just finished a lot of indulging on holidays, basically.
You've worked hard.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, no, it was a good year. So, Nat and I took ourselves to Australia for 5 weeks, and she met the rest of the family, met all my friends there, and we had an incredible time. And then finished off in Bali for a week, and then got back, and my brothers and I and my old man and a few of his friends had organised a trip to St Anton in Austria, a big ski trip for 10 days. Brilliant. And so I kind of got back to London for 2 weeks, kind of reset, and then was straight there, just drinking copious amounts of beer every single day, which was
skiing.
Oh, it was incredible.
You snowboard, don't you?
I snowboard, yeah.
Yeah, I'm a skier.
Snowboard, dude. You're a skier?
Yeah, I have arguments with my I think snowboarders ruin skiing for me.
Yeah, all skiers think that. All you skiers think that. Yeah, I've had a fair few words with the skiers on the mountains.
I remember when it all started in the 90s. I remember looking at the sort of and it
you
was
were
real,
protesting.
Yeah,
you were campaigning.
It was all people. I mean, I was a Generation Xer, and I was into Nirvana as well. But I didn't take it onto the slopes, and all the original snowboarders just literally looked like they just stumbled out of, of some kind of grunge club, and usually ploughed into you, as they would. So. Yeah. That sounds rude, but I'll keep that in. But there was always this snowboarder, and then all my friends shifted into snowboarding, and I never wanted to do it because I don't like the idea of both my legs being together. It really frightens me. I like the freedom of being able to snowplow
down the
gently.
Mountain. Yeah. Well, you can do that on a snowboard too. You just carve in. Well, you just carve in, and you just can go as slow as you want with the board just going down the mountain without having to turn.
Yeah.
You've tried it. You've tried it before.
No,
I
can't catch a ball, and I have no balance, and I think you should probably have quite good hand-eye coordination. I don't like not having the sticks. I mean, I literally...
Hey, they can give you sticks, Meredith. They can give you a couple of sticks. I've seen it done before.
No.
It's embarrassing, but, you can do it if you want. They can line that up.
I can't do that. My cousin, name drop here, Jack Savaretti, is a phenomenal snowboarder. I mean, it's ridiculous snowboarding. Heart in your mouth stuff. When you watch him, and he put a video up from when he was... Well, he put some photos up from when he was 15, and then he put some photos up of him while you were in Austria. He was in Switzerland skiing, and I mean, he's still so good. But I couldn't do it. There's no way. I'm not sporty, and I have no hand-eye coordination. I have ADHD, which you can probably tell. So I think that a lot of that is kind of I need.
I think you should give it a go. You might be pleasantly surprised. You might be. I'll come with you.
No,
I will help.
If you're okay.
And we'll get the sticks.
It worked. I got my.
You got me again, man. You got my bank details. You got me to sing, and you got me on a snow trip.
A ski holiday, a romantic break,
a romantic getaway.
I'll sit in a chalet listening to Marvin Gaye.
Yeah.
Oh God! Did I say that out loud?
Dream. God, this is a good Thursday afternoon. This is.
So you've indulged in beer and skiing and Bali and Oz.
Yes.
So are you going to get back to work anytime soon?
100%. I'm fit. Yeah. You know what? This week is the first time in ages where I feel like I've landed and grounded myself, because we've had an incredible couple of months of traveling, and that's been so much fun. And now it's kind of time to. I really want to. Yeah, I'm feeling motivated. Basically, I'm feeling very motivated. So, what's in the pipeline? In answer to your question, is I'm doing another short in a couple of weeks with Corry, who worked on who did Bloodlines. Yeah, so
Well,
he's
that's
doing
always a good sign when you get
he-
rebooked.
Yeah, totally. And he's got a new short on a female musician that he's doing a biopic on. So in a similar style to the Robin to
You
Bird
can't tell
Lines.
me, can you?
I can't tell you. No.
Oh my
I can't tell you. No, I can't
Oh,
tell you.
no.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
I'd rather have not known.
I just have to tease you a little bit, Meredith. You know, so you bring me back on another time. You know,
It's going to be someone brilliant. Oh,
that's someone cool. That's someone cool. So he's shooting
Can't
that
you
in the
even
next
give me
couple of
the
months.
era?
No, unfortunately, no.
okay.
I can't. I'll give
And it's
you
going to be a
about
short.
3. It's going to be a short. It's going to be a short. So I'm working with him in a couple of weeks, which would be fun.
Auditioning.
Auditioning, yeah. So
Self-tapes.
it's
You've
been
all got
kind of
self-tape now.
yeah.
This is this new thing. I should probably explain what self-tapes are because I found out what they were. My friend Crystal Yu, who's a wonderful actor, her partner, that's what he did. And I remember meeting him. He said, "Oh, I do self-tapes," and didn't want to ask him and say, "Oh, what is that?" Because then you seem stupid. And then it became apparent that actors have self-tapes. Is that so you don't have to go to auditions?
Yeah, basically. So self-tapes have always kind of been around the last decade or so, but before, I mean, they've really ramped up and became the norm since COVID. And, you know, because before that, a lot of people were going in the room initially quite a fair bit. But you would also get quite a lot of self-tapes too, but because of COVID, self-tapes really just became the new norm. I mean, look, from a casting director's standpoint, they can cast a web kind of wider and, you know, defer it to the actors to tape themselves. And, you know, it involves some work. You've got to have the right setup with lights, backdrop, camera, and every time you do get auditions through, you obviously need another reader. So in a lot of respects, it is a lot easier just to kind of go into the room, get redirected a couple times and then out, and then hopefully get a call back. But now you get a self-tape and then the recall will often be in person, or sometimes the recall is just over Zoom and they cast you from that. Sometimes they just cast you from one self-tape.
Really?
It's happening quite a lot. It happened to me with the Poland film, Perfect Addiction. Just did a self-tape for that. 2 months later, I just got this call and said they want you on board. I was like, oh, cool.
It's got to be the right self. Do you make the self-tape specific to the? Is it a self-tape of just a showcase of you, or do you actually read something from it? They send you a script.
Yeah.
So it is actually you're reading for it.
Correct. Yeah,
well.
they'll send you they'll sometimes send you the full script, or if it's for a show, they'll send you the first 1 or 2 episodes, and then they'll send you what's called sides. So they'll send you 1, 2, 3, 4 scenes. It depends that they want you to learn and put down as the audition. So it's just basically doing the audition in the room, but you're doing it at home. And there's loads of upsides to it. I mean, you can do it as many times as you want until you feel like you've got it right. And you kind of hopefully send off your best work, and you're in the comfort of your own home. You're not spending money traveling from audition to audition. You know, there's a lot of perks to it. But I really prefer being in the room. You just I just enjoy meeting the casting director, reading with another actor. And also getting redirected. Sometimes when you're doing self-tapes, it's just up to yourself and whoever you're filming with to watch your back and give yourself notes.
Exactly what I was going to say.
Lost.
I've been to a couple of castings with the kids and things like that, and you do get a form of direction. They tell, all you do need to do is read the lines, but they'll say, come in from this side and this is where you act. And so if you're just given a script out of context with no direction, it's really hard.
Yeah, and a lot of the time that happens as well. They don't give you the full script. They'll just send you maybe a scene, which is maybe 2-3 pages sometimes, and they'll give you a brief background on the character, and then it's just left up to your own prep and interpretation of what you can kind of bring to it. So it's a tough one sometimes. I figure these days, if you can't. You just try to knock it, because you can just do take after take after take and just be there for ages, and then sometimes you just get worse. So I think what I try to do is just, if I haven't got it in the first couple of takes, then just move on. If usually, hopefully, we get it in the first 1, 2, or 3 takes. Sometimes it's the first one, and then you run it again. You're like, oh, it's just quite not as good as the first one, so you send the first one off. So it depends. And then there's trickier ones where you got to learn accents and everything else. So,
but actors are so self-critical.
Yeah,
you could literally sit there for 24 hours going, no.
Yeah,
No.
yeah, you could.
And
Yeah.
you do.
Yeah, and you do, and it happens. Yeah, and you drink a lot, and you sometimes forget to send them out. No, you don't. But what I do, these days I will do a tape, and then if I have the time, I will just sleep on it and look at the next day, wake up, and then pick my favorite take because I'm like a
sleep on
little
it.
exactly, yeah. Kind of had some time to like disassociate
Especially
from it
if
a
you've
bit.
been drinking.
Yeah. Sometimes it's not up to me. I just fall asleep.
Pick a reel, any reel.
Any reel. Sent through an old video.
But I have huge admiration for actors. I dreamt briefly of being one and did do performing arts, but lines are quite an issue for me. And I sort of got sucked into Shakespeare, which I should say I went to see Shakespeare last night. I went to see Tracy Ann Oberman in her adaptation of Merchant of Venice, and I'd never seen The Merchant of Venice. I didn't even really know the story, and I struggle with Shakespeare. So already we were on to a hiding to nothing. Well, I didn't move or blink or swallow, and when the lights went up, I cried, and
Wow.
it was the most incredible performance I've ever. I mean, literally the best thing I've ever seen, and it was Shakespeare, which
Wow.
for me is difficult because of the language, and these actors, even though they spoke in Shakespeare as he wrote it, to deliver it in a set in 1936, you must go and see it, please. And
Yeah.
they're touring.
Okay.
Please go with Natalie, because they're bringing it to the Royal Shakespeare Company after they've toured. They started off at the Watford Palace, so please, I'll send you the link.
Yeah, please
But
do.
this gets me on to ask you: have you done Shakespeare, and would you do it?
I have not. No, I've never done a Shakespeare play. I've done a fair few scenes in lots of acting classes, but I have not done. I would do it. Yeah, I would do it. I started in theatre, and for the first kind of year and a half of when I got into acting, I started in theatre. So I'm it's where it all kind of began for me. So I'm desperate to do some theatre again. It's just I don't know, kind of film and TV stuff keep kind of coming my way, and I'm kind of building on that, really. While the momentum's there.
Yeah. Well, I think maybe Baz Luhrmann could maybe cast you. A fellow Oz
I think so.
could do another Shakespeare, because he did bring Shakespeare. I mean, the way that was acted was, you understood it, even though it was spoken in. I would say I was spoken in Shakespeare.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I actually understood it, and it's very difficult. I've been to see King Lear with Ian McKellen, and I've really, really struggled.
Yeah.
So to watch a Shakespeare in its original language, in its script, and understand it and relate and cry and feel emotion it's testament to the actors. And that's kind of what I'm saying. Actors don't often get there's so much fuss made about celebrity, and it's all too easy to become a celebrity. But the true actors, watching my friend on stage last night, and the real graft you guys do, these self-tapes and things people don't see, I think you deserve every penny you get, because it's just, and you kept us all sane during lockdown. Actors suffered the most, especially those in the West End, and the arts were cut, and no one was helping the arts, but we were all watching Netflix, and which we wouldn't have without you guys. So this is my celebration of acting as well, because I just think you're all brilliant, and I'm so envious of people who can learn lines and deliver a character, make you fall in love with the character, and you do that, Ryan. You're so phenomenally good. I'm so excited for you. I really am, and I'm so grateful that you've taken the time to sit and chat to me, because I know I'm a mate as well.
Of course. No, thank you so much for having me on. And what I'm curious about in terms of falling in love with characters? I'm curious to see, you let me know if you fall in love with the character I play in. So I shot something called The Strangers in
yes.
Slovakia.
I meant to ask you about that. So please,
No, That's cool. I play a
go.
very bad person, Meredith. He's a very bad guy. Basically a city slicking real estate agent who loves a bit of Charlie.
Mm-hmm.
And he's not a good guy. And so I'm curious. I don't think you're going to...
my type on
See if
paper.
you love me. Well, it's a hit. It's a hit.
I'm in.
We've got a match. I take back everything.
So what's that? That's The Stranger. And when's that out?
That's coming out in August. I'm excited. I'm really excited for this one. So yeah, that's this.
You're
this
on our TV screens and screens a lot.
Well, I just want attention. I just want attention.
You deserve
that's
it.
all.
And Natalie as well. I have to say, your wonderful girlfriend is a brilliant actress and singer.
Incredible.
Oh my God.
Oh,
You sang
I
to me
know.
earlier. It was lovely. But Natalie
Thanks.
is the singer in the relationship. And she's just
She's incredible.
She's a jazz. I mean, I love
Incredible.
jazz. She should be cast
Yeah.
as a jazz siren. Maybe,
Yeah.
maybe one of your shorts. Anyway, there we go. I've
She's
put that-
incredible.
I've put
She's
that.
incredible.
She should be in a biopic about someone. She's just.
There you go. Well, we're going to hit Baz up. We'll hit Baz up. He's just
Yeah.
done Elvis, so we'll hit Baz
Yeah.
about
What would you like to
something.
do? What would be your dream gig? Let's end on that.
Dream gig.
Director,
Oh,
genre.
God, there's so many.
Is there a story you'd like turned into a film? And this is really
So
mean.
many. No, it's not mean at all. It's one of
But I
those
usually
ones.
ask you what your death row meal would be, and I think this is more fun.
Oh, well, love that.
You can tell me what your death row meal is as well.
My death row meal, probably ramen.
Really?
I love a bit of ramen.
Yeah.
Yeah. But in terms of, I mean, there's so many. First, I mean, there's so many directors that I would love to work with, but Damien Chazelle, up and coming one, did La La Land, Whiplash, just did Babylon. I mean, the musicality that he has as a director is just incredible, and I love his style. So I would love
The visuals of it as well.
Oh,
so.
the visuals, just incredible.
I mean, the LA, I fell in love with LA all over again after watching La La Land.
Yeah, me too. Oh, I loved that film. I'm due for a rewatch of that one.
Yeah.
So Damien's definitely one I would love to work with.
Bit of dancing in there?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, look, I'll need you to let them production know that I can dance, because
Yeah,
apparently
yeah.
you've seen something. So if
Yeah.
you could sell me
I think you can do anything.
in on that bit, that'd be good.
If you can snowboard, you can dance.
Yeah, I can snowboard too, Meredith. I can snowboard. Although I nearly dislocated my shoulder on a couple of days, but
Ow!
yeah. Anyhow,
So would it be a particular adaptation of anything? Is there a character you'd like to play? Is there a remake that... Anything like that? Come on, someone might be listening.
oh man, I mean, like, in terms of a remake
Someone might
of
be listening.
anything,
Do you like that?
someone,
Just someone.
Baz might be listening. Baz
One
might
listener.
be listening.
That might
Oh, do you know
work
what?
in film.
Joaquin Phoenix has always been an actor that I admire.
Oh, and you look like him a bit.
And I get that all the time.
Oh,
I get it like
God,
every
yeah.
single week. And I take
can't
I'll
see
take
it
it
now.
every
I can't unsee you.
time. Yeah.
I actually say that to everyone. Oh, God, he's so like Ryan. Yeah.
I will take it every time. And do you know what? I've always, if there's a biopic going on Joaquin Phoenix, because I've watched all of his films, and I've followed him a lot growing up, and he's been someone I've really looked up to and admired, the choices he's made, the characters he's played. So I would love to be cast as a young Joaquin Phoenix in his
God, I can see-
biopic, if it ever gets made.
It should get made, because I was a River Phoenix fan.
Mm.
And you're probably, I mean, you'll know, of course, who River Phoenix is, but I was his age. Oh, so sad to think. And I went to the Viper Room and
Oh wow.
and that they were a crazy family. You know, they all changed their names. He was originally, I think, Leaf or
Yeah, he was originally Leaf,
Yeah.
because I think his siblings were like Summer,
yeah,
Rain.
yeah. I mean, it would be the most phenomenal biopic.
Yeah.
Let's get it made.
Just get it made. Whoever's listening, get it made. Pull the string, speak to the people, get it done.
Well, on that note, Go and do a self-tape for it.
I just put one down and send it to the relevant people. My people send it to their people. And
Idea for a movie.
yeah, maybe I should just write it.
Because that must be a bit of a hindrance, looking like an actor. So it's like, well, okay, I can't play the same roles as him, but I'll be him.
Yeah, I'll be him. If someone will take me, then I'll be him. Yeah.
There you go. You heard it here first. You heard it here first. It could happen.
If not, then give me anything else Joaquin Phoenix has done.
Yeah. Oh, Ryan, you've been a joy. I'm only letting you go because you have got to audition, and it does mean I will then get to see you in more stuff. So that's fine. But thank you so much for being an absolute brilliant sport.
No, thank you. Yeah,
incredibly fun.
Thank you for having me on board, and I'm sorry that I do have to cut it short here because I could talk for ages.
My
and if
producer is
I'm sure we'll do it again at some point. I'm sure, and in person too.
In
I'm
person,
sure.
you're going to come and see the Bluebells.
Yes, bring me to the Bluebells.
We're going to get photos of you in the Bluebells, looking like a sort of Athena poster from the 80s. That's what I think we should do. Also, like
Yeah.
holding a puppy.
Yeah, sign me up. I love puppies.
Yeah.
I could even hold your two dogs. You got
Yes,
the two Dachshunds.
You
Yeah.
can. Oh, they will love you.
Yeah, I will
They
love
will
them.
love you. Well, let's make that happen. And thank you so much again, Ryan. Honestly, you're brilliant.
Thank you so much for having me on, Meredith. And I appreciate all the love, all the comments, just everything, all the support that you've shown. So I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on. This has been fun.
Thank you so much, Ryan. Oh my God, that was so fun. I didn't want it to end. He's so lovely, and we will put everything he's doing, which is a lot, into the show notes. Thank you to you, the listeners, for subscribing, for downloading, for telling your friends, for sharing on social media. I am so grateful, and you make it possible. And to my wonderful producer, your voice here. Thank you so much. We've got an amazing guest next episode. Hope you'll be there.